That's what I get for making a bad joke. The piece of junk broke on me. Not good. That sucks. So, I'm thinking before I get too serious with this car, I better do some simple tests, and one of those tests is to bring out the old pressure tester, you know, for the coolant system, and you make sure we don't got like a blown head gasket or nothing weird. Because I do remember when I got home, I checked the coolant. I didn't check it before I bought it because it was so hot. They already had it warmed up. When I got home, I checked it, and it was a little low. I'm like, okay, it's low. You know, let's check that later, and you know, make sure there's nothing major. So I get my pressure tester on there. I got the right cap. And I'm pumping up, and I get no reading on the gauge. And I'm like, what the heck? What the heck? So I'm just pumping. And then all of a sudden I hear something running. And I look over here, and it appears something's maybe pouring out from behind this fan right here. I'm like, oh great. But then also I had this tube off to make sure it wasn't, you know, leaking out of there, because I'm like, I'm not getting pressure. Is the gauge good? The gauge bad? So I pulled that tube off and see if I could feel it was leaking there. But then that was dripping a little. It was dripping over to there. So I'm like, I gotta be sure because I don't know now. So I'm pumping, and nothing's coming again after I put that hose back on. I'm like, what the heck? So I got some distilled water, topped her off, and we're gonna give this a shot again. I'm gonna hook it back up, and you know, hopefully there's no major leak in the radiator, but that's what it looks like. And I mean, I'm hitting the pressure relief valve. I'm not getting any pressure. I'm pulling, you know, the cap off. I'm not getting any pressure. So I'm not sure if this gauge is even good. I mean, I almost need to try it on another radiator just to see if this gauge is even, you know, good. This is, you know, just some cheap kit I got off Amazon. So just a minute ago, I said I don't know if this gauge is working, but I figured out a way to test it. I took one of the ones that has just the rubber seal, placed my glove thumb over it, and then I use my other hand. You know, of course, I'm holding like here with my wrist against my belly. And then I'm pumping away at the handle, and I've actually got the gauge to go up to about 5 psi. So I know the gauge works. I know I'm getting pressure. Let's try it again on the car with a little more coolant in it. I tested on my truck, but the overflow bottle and that's cracked. So this is my only option at the moment. Okay, I'm an idiot. There's no cap needed to test the gauge. See right there? Boom. Although this thing did take a while to pump up. It was really hard to pump it up, but you can see I got no cap hooked up. Release the pressure. Boom. Gauge went to back to 0. So, I'm not sure if this pump is just wacky or what. I'm having trouble. Stupid box. I'm having trouble getting this cap to seal now. I did the first time, but now it's just dripping out the cap, and I pulled the hose again off to, you know, make sure, you know, put my glove over my finger over there, see if that was the problem. And of course, then I put, you know, when I did that, the hose rest, and you can see it there, it goes right into the fan. So I think it just, like that right there, leaked into the fan, and then it leaked down, you see right there? Now it's leaking, dripping down there by the bottom of the fan again. So, I don't know. Keep trying to figure this out. Hopefully I don't got a bad radiator. Yeah, the O-ring is like pinching and stuff. It won't, you know, fully stay on there. This O-ring's too big, so I'm going to have to go to the hardware store and find the right size to fit the hole. It's just, I just wish something would work for once without extra steps. Whew. I'm just out here in the garage and messing around because I can't do what I really want to right now, and it's too late for a hardware store trip, so figured I'd mess with this junk, which is, I plan to change this alternator pulley, and possibly the crank pulley later, but right now I might just do the alternator. And it's got this fancy March cover on there, because this is probably a March pulley kit, you know, the brackets and such. And I was like, oh, those look pretty small Allen heads, so let me dig out my kit and figure it out. Got my, you know, cheap Harbor Freight $10 kit here, and sure enough, right here it's 7/64. I'm getting ready to go work on it, and I'm like, dang, I really appreciate, you know, these Craftsman bit holder sockets that I got, you know, with my original toolkit over there about 30 or almost 30 years ago now. Because I mean, everything you buy these days is disposable. You get these, you know, one piece or molded in bits, which you know, you gotta still buy what you gotta buy because of the size. But back when I bought that kit over there, it came with all these, and this is probably only a few of them because it had lots of bits. But over the 30 years, I've lost several of them. But these things have come in handy multiple times because you essentially just pull out the bit. There's a little metal ring in there that gets in that groove on the bits, which better example, this one right here. See those little grooves? Not that one, that was a small one. It locks it on that groove. We can get started. There we go. My glove was getting caught. And there it's locked in there pretty good. And that's nice because you used to replace the bits. Now you replace the whole dang socket. So, I mean, it's cool. I mean, I wish they did more stuff like this. I mean, there's probably other tool manufacturers that do it now, but I know Craftsman, they did eventually go to this style. This is not a Craftsman right here, but I bought the one-piece Craftsman style, and they broke it, and I throw them away, and it is what it is. I said I like these because you can buy these cheap bit kits all day long, and these sockets have come in handy so many times. I mean, I wish I could get some half-inch ones, but this is when I bought that kit. It just came with this assortment of 3/8 and a couple 1/4 inch, which the only 1/4 inch large one I have left is this. Oop, almost lost it. Probably would have rolled away into the crack and been gone forever. I'm sure I could dig quite a few sockets out of that crack. I'm getting sidetracked, but anyways, I just thought I'd mention that, and it's cool. Check it out. Right there. And of course, this kit's 30 years old, so it's USA. Anyways, let's hope these bolts come loose. I don't know how long this has been together. Trying to do this one-handed and not strip it. Yeah, I am loosening. And am I tightening? Yeah, I'm tightening it down. I'm dumb. There we go. Bam! There's one. And there's two. And the third one. Got to turn the bit a little. Trying to look and hold the camera at the same time is always a pain in the butt. Oh, there it came loose. So cool. I can remove that fancy cover right there, get to the nut, change that pulley out. Awesome. Random observation about the car. You see this alternator right here? You notice anything that sticks out? This little tab right here? That's a grounding tab. Because when you get a coated alternator like this, you can't assume it's going to ground through the bracket. Having this actual ground right there, that dedicated ground, is a much better solution. One of those should work. Earlier I was at the hardware store, so I grabbed a selection of O-rings to try, because we know that the one on there was not fitting in the down in the neck, deep down in there, the second one. He's got two O-rings, or the seal deal, and the O-ring, but the O-ring was too large, so I'm going to try one of these. And a squirrel just ran around my attic. And one of these should be a better fit. We'll see. Oh, and I looked at some old video clips when I first got the car, and it looked like the overflow was about the same level. It's a little bit lower, but I don't think it's low enough for the amount of fluid that spilled the other day, which I've cleaned up, and I've got a drip pan down there. So hopefully we don't have another mess again if it does leak. This one's just a touch smaller, but maybe just that little bit that is needed. If not, we'll go down to the next size, or even smaller than that. And then I got these metric ones, which are actually even a bit narrower. So We'll see, but you know that they may be the ones that work. Nope, not that one. So we're on to the next size. Fits on there nice and good. And I went ahead and just test fitted it. Feels like it's going in there good. Better than the other ones, definitely. I'm gonna put a little bit of lube on there so I don't, damage it, and we'll give it a shot. So you want it snug, but not, obviously too big or too small. Just right. Good news, O-ring worked. So right there, we got pressure, and the drip pan is dry so far, but I haven't got to full pressure. Just I started hearing something, and we can look over here and you can see got a leak right here on the hose. So I'll fix that and bump up the pressure. Guess I'm not that good of a judge of how much coolant, is whatever. All pumped up, got it close to 15. I'll go check the clock and we'll set set a timer, whatever. Check back and I think they say an hour or so in the instructions. We'll see. I was just digging around in the back room, checking this intake part number right there. It's a old Wien accelerator, so I wanted to maybe mess with it sometime. And I found this Holley air filter lid, small one. Which I got another one right there, in better shape that I hung up long ago. I'm like, I should put this one up on the wall too. So I came over here to my junk shelf and I'm looking for a screw. Then I noticed over here on the wall, I just made that clip the other day, and there's one right there. Those sockets, you change out the bit. And there's one right there, another 1/4 inch with the larger size. Another one right there, and another one right there. So I got 4 more right over here. See, what I used to do is I had these magnets up because back when I was working on my car all the time, which I'm freaking chicken junk still. I gotta clean this garage so bad. Just throw stuff away. Back when I was working on my car all the time, I had always instead of hunting or losing tools, I just slap them up here over the wall so I could find them. There's certain ones like this Allen wrench right here that fits in the nut, it's cut down to fit in for one of the fuel pump bolts, and just I'm sure I had some of those for certain purposes and whatnot, but I've taken the good ones out and put them away, but this is the remnants for now. So I don't know, I just thought it was interesting. I found a few more of those sockets. Wait, no, that's not for the fuel pump. That's the fuel pump one up there. Says right on it. Not that anyone cares. Don't get me started on that mess down there. I really need to clean out all that junk. Alright, I got a screw, leg for my box fan that I've been looking for, a couple vacuum caps, and a battery bolt. I mean, I have no clue what's up here. There's so much junk. I mean, I was looking over here and I didn't realize I have all these tiny hose clamps, which is cool because you can't get them that small sizes, conveniently as much. They're always bigger than those. You have to have a bunch of excess, but you have the tiny ones are nice. And I'm going to need this when I clean up the rust on that fan shroud holder thingy, radiator holder. I forget what it's called. Radiator mount. I used to save these all the time. I mean, yeah, you probably wonder why I have all these empty packages, because I use the back of them for like a mixing board for like JB Weld and such. Mix them and throw it away. So I always found that those thick packaging, good for that kind of stuff. Here's another one. Nice thick cardboard. We mix it on the back, toss it away. Topping off my batteries, keeping them from going bad, while I kill time waiting for the pump to see if it's going to hold pressure. Yuck. I hate mold and mildew. Yuck. Die! Just wiping down my vise with used motor oil because I sprayed it off with brake clean. There, did you see that? finally dripped. I've been standing here about 5-10 minutes, I don't know, and I wanted to show you. And it dripped. Oh, the whole time I'm standing here, does that look like a heart to you? Anyways, it's been over an hour-ish. I noticed the pressure just started to drop, not much, and so I looked around to see if I can hear or see anything, and that's when I saw that spot there, which is under the water pump side or the head gasket. I haven't gotten really under there to look and see yet. I don't know. I mean, you're not going to be able to see it with all that crap. I'll tear it apart later or get a mirror in there and such, but yeah. I'm not super worried about that small drip. It's a very slow leak. So that can be shelved for another day, unless it's the head gasket. I'll further investigate and figure out what I want to do. But I got that stupid air cleaner lid hung up. I lost a couple screws behind the cabinet before I finally grabbed this to poke a better hole because I didn't feel like getting a drill. Check this out. I just thought that was stupid. The freaking thing is... I thought these handles were better mold than that. Look at that. That's stupid. Never mind. But I was digging through my cabinet and I found this fuel pump isolator. I'd say plate, but it's not plate. It's phenolic. So, it's a heat isolator for the fuel pump, which goes down here, right there, between the pump and the block, to keep the heat off it. Help the fuel stay cooler because the pump heats up, the fuel heats up, and I want to pull that off, put a hollow fuel pump rod in there, because for RPM, so it pumps better at RPM because the stock one's solid and heavy. So just something I got to do on the million things I want to do with this car list. I really need to go through all this junk, and I got some under dry pulleys and various odds and ends, and oh, check this out. Pro Series. I found these at a Menards not too long ago, which I'll show you real quick. Grab one of these. A fair comparison. Quite a bit bigger. Though I haven't used one yet, so I don't know if it sprays more or not. But yeah, it's 1 pound, 14 ounce, 1 pound, 3 ounce. I'm rambling. Let's wrap this up. Good news, I don't need a radiator. This is the weirdest vlog I've made yet, so let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks for watching. Keep it real. Bonus clip. I've already done this once, but I figured I'd show you guys. She's a squirter. I'm done. I'm gone.